Good morning, 5th period class. This is Mrs. Crumpton, and today we are going to be studying for our Math Connects Course 3 textbook, Section 7.2a, Parallel Lines, and Section 7.2b, which is also lines. This section start on page 408. So your learning target, I can examine angle relationships formed by parallel lines and a transversal. I can identify relationships of angles formed by two parallel lines cut by a transversal. All of your vocabulary terms can be found on page 409. So I think most of you in here, I gave you these vocabulary terms before I started recording with the video. So I think most of you have these terms looked up. First off, let's talk about a definition for parallel lines. Who has that definition for me? Parallel lines from page 409. Hey, y'all are getting camera shy because I turned the camera on. Yes, ma'am.
Are two lines in a plane that never intersect or cross?
Two lines in a plane that never intersect or cross. Okay, now the next thing that we need to talk about is a transversal. Who has the definition for me for transversal? Let's hear from somebody else. Transversal. Come on, people. Page 409. One person looked these up. Transversal. Go ahead. Give me that definition.
A line that intersects two or more lines.
Line that intersects two or more lines. Okay, now my diagram down here at the bottom. I want to start talking about this diagram first. I've got two lines. These lines are parallel, and they are cut by a transversal, which is this line here. When two lines are cut by a transversal, there are some characteristics. Somebody shut the door, please. There are some characteristics about angles that we need to know in order to do the rest of this section. That's why I'm combining these two sections, because they really do need to go together. Okay, let's talk about first interior and exterior. Interior. What is the word, just the word, not interior angles, but what does it mean to be interior?
Inside.
Inside. Inside. So what do you suppose interior angles are going to be?
An angle inside a polygon.
Inside a what?
Polygon.
We're not even talking about polygons. Try that one again.
Look on page 409.
Inside the parallel lines.
Inside the parallel lines. If I'm talking about interior angles, we're talking about inside
Well, I read the definition.
the parallel lines. We're going to get to polygons. Just hold on to that thought about polygons. Okay, exterior angles. Exterior angles. What does it mean if I'm on the exterior? Yes, sir.
Outside.
The line that outside of the parallel lines.
Yes. Exterior means outside. Exterior angles is outside the parallel lines. Okay, so our interior angles here. Let's identify the interior angles. Which ones are inside the parallel lines?
3 and 4 and 5 and 6.
Correct. So here interior angles are 3, 4, 5, and 6. Interior angles are 3, 4, 5, and 6. What are my exterior angles?
1, 2, 7, 8.
My exterior angles are 1, 2, 7, and 8. Correct. All right, now let's add a little bit to our knowledge. Let's talk about alternate interior angles. Now, we've already defined interior angles as inside the parallel lines. What does it mean if I alternate? What does it mean if I'm alternating?
You're trying
Changing it out? Yeah, sort of. Alternating is kind of like, you've kind of played hopscotch before, right? Mm-hmm. You know how you alternate between hopping on two feet and then 1 foot, 2 foot, 1 foot, 2 feet, 1 foot. Whew, that's a mouthful. Well, alternate interior angles means that I'm on one side of the transversal and then I alternate to the opposite side of the transversal, opposite positions. Now, something that we need to know about alternate interior angles is the definition, and who has that?
I ain't reading no more definition.
Here, let me see your book. Which one?
Alternate interior angles.
An interior angle that lie on opposite sides of a transversal.
Interior angles.
You can keep it.
You can slide it down. Interior angles that lie on opposite sides of the transversal. Uh-huh. Interior angles that lie on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, so let's identify our alternate interior angles.
4,
Exterior angles that lie on the opposite sides of the transversal.
Okay, that's our alternate exterior. You're right. It is exterior angles that lie on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, but let's talk about which angles are our alternate interior angles. We already know that angles 3, 4, 5, and 6 are interior.
1, 7.
4, 6, and 3, or 3 and 5.
Not quite. Alternate. Hang on, we're talking about the interior right now.
Okay.
Alternate interior. They are on opposite sides of the transversal. Here's our transversal.
3 and
So it'd be 3 and 2 and
5.
7 and 6.
3 and 6. 3 and 6.
4 and
Interior.
5.
And 4 and 5. Now, something that you need to know about alternate interior angles as well is they are congruent. Now, what does it mean if two angles are congruent? We talked about that last week. Congruent means what? Equal what? Same what? Not quite angles. Same measure. Equal measure. Same measure. Okay, so now we've said that angle 3 and angle 6 are alternate interior angles, and you're correct. And you also told me that angle 4 and angle 5 are alternate interior angles. Okay, now let's talk about those alternate. I'm going to abbreviate the word alternate exterior angles. Yes, sir. I've got one out right now. You're going to have to wait. Can we let him back in, please? Alternate exterior angles, and somebody gave us that definition. Alternate exterior angles, going back up to the front. Alternate exterior angles, and you're probably going to be on the camera. Okay, if you don't want to be on camera, you can't walk in front of it. Alternate exterior angles are exterior angles that lie on opposite sides of the transversal, and they also are congruent.
So would it be 2 and 7 and 1 and 8?
2 and 7, 1 and 8, yes. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 8. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 7. Very good. Make sure you get this in your notes. Y'all are doing a good job answering questions so far. Okay, now let's talk about the corresponding angles. First off, give me our definition for corresponding angles.
Those are those angles that are in the same position on the two lines in relation to the transversal.
Are in the same positions. Are in the same positions on the two lines in relation to the transversal. Okay, make sure you got that down. Did you let that one back in?
That one.
Let me remind you, if you cross in front of the camera, you're going to be on the video. You can't get to your notes from there. You got to get across. Come on.
Been across.
Come on around. Come on around somehow, somewhere. Thank you. Okay, let me draw some more parallel lines. Well, actually, we can talk about... let's draw some more. Less confusion if I draw some more.
So we will see our grades today that we made on our test?
Yes. As soon as we get done with this lesson. Okay, now let's talk about those corresponding angles. Corresponding angles we defined just a second ago as those angles that are in the same position on the two lines in relation to the transversal. So if I ask you to tell me a corresponding angle, that means to angle number 1, I'm looking for an angle that's on the same side of the transversal and in the same position.
1 and 8. And
Not
4
1
and
and
5.
8. Not 1 and 8.
1 and 4 and 5 and 8.
1 and 5 actually are in the same position. We're
Oh.
looking at the top left, top left. Okay? Corresponding angles. Looking at these two lines. Angle 1 is on the same side of the transversal as these other angles here.
So
1,
it'd be
4,
like-
5, and 8.
so it'd
But
be
their
like-
corresponding position, yes?
So like 4, its corresponding position would be 8.
Yes, that's correct. So our corresponding angles here, and by the way, corresponding angles are congruent. Now I'm going to use the symbol for congruent. Alright, so we said that angle 1 and angle 5 are congruent. What are our other pairs of corresponding angles?
4 and 8.
4 and 8, yes, you said that one, that's good.
And 1 and
2 and 6.
2 and 6.
2 and 6.
Angle 2,
And 3 and 7.
angle 6, whoops.
Angle 2.
Angle 3 is congruent to angle 7. That's good. That's good. So now that you've kind of got a basic understanding of the angles and their relationships, the angles that we've talked about today, and their relationship as far as parallel lines go, I want to ask you to do something for me.
What's that?
I am going to ask you now, if I give you the measure of one angle,
You can find the rest.
do you think you can find the rest?
Yes.
I think you can.
Yes.
Probably not. I think you can.
Yes, I think you can.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, what about if I tell you, think about all the relationships of alternate interior, alternate exterior. Think about from the previous section, straight angles. Think about vertical angles. Think about adjacent angles. Think about all the different types of angles that we've talked about so far. Corresponding, alternate exterior, alternate interior. Everything that we've talked about so far. If I tell you that the measure of angle 8 is 42 degrees.
And 5 is 42.
How do you know that?
Because they're
Because-
congruent. They're both the same.
Why are they the same?
Because
They're
they're
adjacent.
No, it's not adjacent.
They're not
It's
adjacent.
Who said vertical? They're vertical. Alright, so let's write that down. Angle 8
An angle 5.
is congruent to angle 5 because they
Or vertical.
are vertical angles. I hope I spelled vertical correctly. It'd be bad, a math teacher can't spell vertical.
VRT. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, right.
So no, is E on the end?
Yeah.
There's well, hold on.
Do what now?
Right.
Honey, never mind.
Now, can I figure out the measure of some other angles based on some discussion that we've had today?
Yes.
Which one?
You can find 7 and 6.
How can I find 7 and 6?
Because it's
It's the same
a
thing as-
straight line. So it's a 180.
And 180 minus 42.
Very good. Here I've got a straight line. And I know that angle 5 is 42 degrees.
84 minus, or 180 minus 84.
180 minus what?
180 minus 42.
Would it be 42, or I thought you might have added both of them together?
No, 180
Okay.
minus 42. Okay, this angle, these two angles added together form a straight line. So what is my measure for angle 7? 138.
Yes.
How'd you get that? I just want to make sure. That is 138 degrees. So what would my measure for angle 6 be, and why?
188 degrees.
Why? Good deal. Okay, so the measure of angle 7 is congruent to the measure of angle 6 because they're vertical. Okay, angle 7 plus angle 8 equals 180 degrees, which is a straight angle. Okay, what about a measure of angles 1, 2, 3, and 4? And I want you thinking about the definitions that we got today. Yes, ma'am. Did you have one?
You can do 1 and 4.
1 and 4? How do we get 1 and 4?
The vertical.
Yeah, wouldn't it be the same thing as 5 and 8?
Okay, 1 and 4 would be the same thing as 5 and 8. Yes, but why? How do you know that?
Because they're
Because
They're what?
perpendicular.
Angle 1 is congruent to which one? Angle 5? Why?
supposed to be 2 7.
Supposed to be 2 what?
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Like on the bottom, you got 7 plus 8, 7, 6.
Huh?
You got 2 7. Well, that.
Angle 7 and angle 6 are vertical.
Yes.
And angle 7 plus angle 8 are 180 degrees.
I didn't know if there was supposed to be 2.
That's okay. It's a good question. I see what you're asking now. Okay, what's the relationship between angle 1 and 5? Look at your diagrams from today and you tell me. What's the relationship?
They share the same position.
They share the same position, so what kind of angles share the same position?
5.
1 and 5 and then
Yes, but what's it called?
I don't know.
Congruent.
Not congruent, corresponding. Because they are corresponding. Okay, now you also told me that another angle is the same as angle 5. Which one? 1, yes. 1 and 5.
3 and 7. 2
Uh,
and 6.
hang on, let's talk about angle number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Number 4 is the same as number 8. Angle number 4 is congruent to angle 8. Why?
They're corresponding.
They're corresponding. Okay, well what about, could I have said something about maybe angle 1 and 8?
They're not corresponding.
No, they're not, but they're something else. Where are they, inside or outside?
Outside.
So what kind of angles are 1 and 8?
Alternate exterior angles.
Correct. They are outside and they are congruent. Now let's talk about 2 and 3. We have not written 42 in here.
Would 2 and 7 be what Hunter just said? Whatever he said?
Alternate exterior, yes.
Yeah.
So the measure of angle 2 is
138.
138. Why?
Because that's what 7 is.
Because that's what 7, and what's their relationship?
They're corresponding.
They're not corresponding.
Or they're
Alternate
exterior.
exterior. And lastly, what about angle 3?
3. It's 138.
Why?
Because 3 and 6 are exterior.
3 and 6 are not exterior. Where are they?
They're
Interior.
Interior.
They're interior.
That's the same angle.
Good.
What, Gracie?
Angle 3 and angle 6, because they are alternate interior. Now, are there other ways that we could have proved these angles congruent?
Yes.
Yeah. There are other ways, but those are the main ones that I wanted you to recognize and know today. Now, believe it or not, we have covered 2 sections. The only thing that I've not talked about is perpendicular lines, and I can do that real quick. The main thing that I want you to know for right now about perpendicular lines, if I have parallel lines cut by transversal, and I know that this angle forms a right angle, what's the measure of all the other angles? They're all going to be right angles. For right now, that's what I want you to know about about perpendicular lines. I want to give you a formative assessment just to get a snapshot and understand what you didn't get from this lesson. So your formative assessment is from page 411, problems 1 through 12. And your assignment, once you get numbers 1 through 12, if you want to go ahead and start on the assignment, your assignment is going to be from pages 412, excuse me, and 413. And that is numbers 13 through 30.
We're gonna do both of those tonight.
I want you to get the formative assessment done tonight, and if you feel confident enough, you can start on 412 and 413. Otherwise, what you don't get done on 13 through 30, we will work on in class tomorrow. Thank you so much for a great job on the video. You can holler goodbye to those listening.
Bye-bye.
Get her done. Get her done.
Thanks so much. See you in class tomorrow.
Bye.